Hi everyone. This is my impromptu speech, so I'm going to turn it over to my husband here who's going to ask me those 3 questions and then we will get started. So here goes.
Okay, the 3 questions I chose are: what is your favorite movie? What is your favorite hobby? And if you were an animal, what would you be?
Those are 3 really good questions. So I think I would have to go with what's my favorite hobby. To be honest, my favorite hobby is baking. I love to bake. Baking is, to me, is anything that I, can make from scratch and put in the oven and cook it for my family. So anything from baking cookies and pies and, homemade meals, really anything that I can make from scratch is something that I love to do. So I guess the biggest thing that I love to bake is pie. Who doesn't love pie? I start from scratch, so I make a homemade crust. My crust consists of the normal ingredients, butter, flour, salt, a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water, mix it all up, makes a perfect pie crust every time. And then next comes the filling. So filling can be anything from savory to sweet. I do a lot of like chicken pot pies, turkey pot pies, anything that I have left over, I try to make into a pie. May sound silly, but I've come up with some great creations. And then always, the favorite, the sweet pies. One of my top sweet pies that I love to make is cherry pie, fresh cherry pie. So I love when cherries are in season. You have to pit all of the cherries and, then you kind of boil them down with some sugar and some water, make like a nice thick center for your pie. Then you lay out your pie crust, you put in your filling, you top off your pie crust. I love to do fancy things on my pie crust, so I always have fancy designs on the top or fancy edges on my pies. And then I put it in the oven and let it bake for a little bit and then have a delicious treat. Baking is my favorite hobby because it is a stress reliever for me. That may sound crazy, but it really is. It is something that I can do by myself. My toddler tries to help, but it's probably best if she stays out of the kitchen. The kitchen is my domain. That may sound very... Oh, I don't even know. That doesn't sound very good. My husband helps out in the kitchen, but when it comes to baking, baking is my thing. I love to bake. It is a stress reliever. I turn on my music. I, start from scratch, or I start from a recipe. I have hundreds of cookbooks. That sounds crazy, but I do. I love cookbooks. I love to bake new things. So I guess in conclusion, my favorite hobby is baking. Baking is my stress reliever. It is something that I can provide food for my family. It's just something fun that I love to do, and it's more for me just because it's my time. It's time by myself. I think, I turn on my music, I kind of do whatever I want. So that would be one of my absolute top favorite hobbies. So I am so glad to share my favorite hobby with you guys, and I can't wait to see all of your videos. Thanks, guys.